Carl Sagan could not have predicted 2021, but he did see it coming. He wrote the following back in 1995, and we quote, "I have a foreboding of an America in my children's or grandchildren's time when the United States is a service and information economy, when nearly all the manufacturing industries have slipped away to other countries, when awesome technological powers are in the hands of a very few, and no one representing the public interest can even grasp the issues, when the people have lost the ability to set their own agendas or knowledgeably question those in authority, when, clutching our crystals and nervously consulting our horoscopes, our critical faculties in decline, unable to distinguish between what feels good and what's true, we slide almost without noticing back into superstition and darkness. The dumbing down of America is most evident in the slow decay of substantive content and the enormously influential media. The 30-second sound bites now down to 10 seconds or less. Lowest common denominator programming, credulous presentations on pseudoscience and superstition, but especially a kind of celebration of ignorance." Roll that around for a while. Those were among his final published words. He died 10 months later. Here we are 25 years later, realizing just what he was trying to tell us back then.
Can you hear me now? Okay, I think we're back, guys. I think I've been at the tunnel Jews sabotaged my stream and got rid of the sound. Can you give me a thumbs up in the chat if you guys can hear me, everybody? Welcome back, everybody. Okay, thank you guys very much for being here tonight. Guys, tonight I have an announcement to make right off the bat. I have decided to change sides. This world deserves a better class of debonker. And I'm going to give it to him. I have been getting so much flack about, well, you're a conspiracy theorist. How come you don't believe every single conspiracy that's out there? Because I'm not a low IQ moron, for one. Guys, can anybody out there, anybody in the chat, list one conspiracy I believe in other than MH370? One? Can you just list literally one conspiracy that I believe in? Guys, I got to admit, I've sold out. They gave the Israelis gave me the $150 million that they were going to give to Charlie Kirk. The Candace says that was going to happen, which never really happened. It turns out they're giving it to me. Guys, I don't believe in any conspiracy theories other than the MH370. It's time for me to stop. Like, for a while, I was scared to give my opinions on things because of how people would react. And it's just time for that to end. So we are moving away from the science phase of MH370. That doesn't mean that we're not going to talk about science anymore. We're definitely going to talk about science a lot, to be honest with you. But now we're moving into the political phase. And you may say, Ashton, stay in your lane, Ashton. You're not allowed to talk about politics. Yeah, I am. I definitely am. And I'm probably better at politics than 99% of the people that are out there. I mean, politics is just about opinions anyways. So don't you worry. I've got some political opinions that are going to upset people significantly. Tonight, the first thing I want to talk about is the Charlie Kirk situation, very briefly. Because Nick Fuentes has been leading this charge against the conspiratards that are out there, the low IQ anti-Semites, as he refers to them, which I think is on the money. And he today was on with Harrison Smith and Alex Jones, and he talked about it. And I want to point out, in case people have not been watching, not paying attention, that Nick has actually been liking a lot of my posts related to, debunking these weird Israel conspiracy theories that have been getting pushed by people. And I was thinking for a while that the people like Candace Owens and Ian Carroll, that they were just like 2-bit grifters, that they saw an opportunity to make some money and they jumped in on it. But now I actually think they're just straight up detached from reality. I think they might actually be buying into their own bullshit at this point, which is just jumping down the rabbit hole way too far. And if you guys watched on Sunday, or was it Saturday? When was that? Yeah, Sunday. I completely dismantled all of Ian's arguments. And I think we struck like a decisive blow against these narratives that have been getting pushed out there that aren't based in reality. And I annihilated another one yesterday, which was this silly argument that this is what they do, guys. They made up an imaginary claim that the gunman broke down the rifle. The gunman broke down the rifle on the roof and carried a broken down rifle with him as he escaped from the crime scene. And then they said, well, this makes no sense at all. Therefore, this is one of the holes in the story. This proves that the Israelis did it. Turns out the whole breaking down the gun thing, completely fake. Never happened. Nobody even claimed it. Nobody has even claimed that other than the schizos themselves. And this is like where you got to realize, guys, we are just through the looking glass at this point. We are through the looking glass at this point. This is like the people that are saying like MH370 was turned into MH17 and shot down over the Ukraine. What? So this thing has just gone completely off the rails. And I am happy to step up into this position of debunker to shoot it down. The reason being, and I want to show a couple clips here in a second. We're going to react to a few clips. The reason being, I'm starting to realize what is up with all these people, right? Like a lot of these people supported me, right? At least they claim to have supported me. But what's really going on is that these people thought I was like them. They thought I was a grifter like they are, right? They're going out there. They're either spreading lies that they know are untrue or very unlikely to be true because it gets clicks and they make money. That's like their whole job, right? And so it's almost like you go to the circus and you got a lot of circus performers and they thought I was a clown like them. They just thought I was a clown like them. And everybody just doesn't attack everybody else, even though they all know what they're doing. They thought I was one of them. That's what they thought. And what they found out is I'm not. And so I'm super glad that all of this has happened because I want to make it abundantly clear. I'm not like you. We are not the same. Not even close to the same. People like Candace and Ian will never be on my level, not in a million years, not until the day they die. If that upsets them or you, then you should ask why Ian Carroll ran away from the debate like me, like the biggest pussy I've ever seen in my life. What was he so afraid of? If he's so confident in his investigative skills, if Candace Owens is going to solve the mystery of Charlie Kirk, why are they so afraid to debate? They're afraid to debate because they know they'll get destroyed, because they know it's the end of their little grift. Just like the Ash conformity experiment, when somebody finally steps up and speaks out against the 1,000 wine moms drinking wine to Candace Owens' crazy ass shit, they're afraid. They're afraid that the people are going to wake up and go, wait a minute, this guy doesn't make any sense. This guy doesn't make any sense at all. So let's go ahead here. And I just want to quickly show this clip. So I decided to post the proof finally, in case anybody didn't believe me. I love this. Humble yourself. Humble myself to what? Humble myself to who? Let me be clear to you guys out there. You guys really don't get it. I have to literally drill this into you. There is no equivalency between my work and Ian Carroll. Ian Carroll and Candace Owens are 2-bit bottom-feeding grifters at best. At worst, they're psychologically broken and divorced from reality and need to be locked up in an insane asylum. I don't know where on that spectrum they are, but it has nothing to do with what I've been doing. My work is based on evidence and science and actually doing a real investigation. The reason why this upsets you so much is because just like when left-wingers get upset, I'm telling you the truth. The truth upsets you. And I'm sorry it upsets you, but I just don't care. I just don't care. And if you want, you know what? Go talk to Candace and Ian and say, hey, Ashton's being mean to you. He's saying mean words to you. Go cry. Go cry to your mommy and your daddy. Wah, wah. Ashton's hurting my feelings. Sorry, guys. Truth hurts. Humble yourself. Are you kidding me? Humble yourself. There's only one conspiracy I believe in, and it's the biggest conspiracy in the history of the world. Biggest conspiracy in the history of the world. Actually, you know what, guys? Just kidding. You know what? Hold on. Man, I don't know how did I not see this? You know what? The debunkers were right all along. Turns out this just is what is it? Call of Duty video. It's video game effects. This is clearly just video game effects, right? Yeah, I'm just grifting off some video game effects. That's definitely not a thermonuclear weapon annihilating MH370. It's video game effects. Yeah, I've seen that shit in Call of Duty. Yeah, of course that's what it is. I mean, it's not like there's a plane missing still. It's not like there's a plane that was never found. You know? Yeah, we're totally the same as Candace Owens, literally blaming MK Ultra Bs. Yes, I'm not joking. Candace Owens is blaming MK Ultra Bs for killing Charlie Kirk. Ian Carroll's talking about rooftop Jew tunnels or some shit like that. Second shooters shooting from the side. Yeah. Okay, guys. Yeah, it's video game effects. There you go. That's the reason why I've got sociopaths stalking me, literally stalking everything I do 24/7, 365. To the degree where I went on a space yesterday. I was on a space yesterday and I had multiple debunkers jumping up into the speaker panel to try to ask me weird schizo questions, which I knew like immediately they were Redditors. Immediately, because I see their same bullshit narratives on Reddit. Ashton, what about your free energy device? How come you're changing your story all the time? Shucks. Why are those people like, and you think about like what that would take for them to be like jumping in a space that I just posted. They are literally sitting in a Discord together, stalking every post and comment that I do, everything that comes up, jumping into whatever conversations they can sneak into, jumping into my replies whenever they can, and reaching out to every podcaster telling them not to talk to me. Does that sound like organic behavior to you? If this is video game effects or whatever crap they're talking about, would you act that way? Nobody acts that way around real grifters. They only act that way when somebody's telling the truth. Do you guys get that? Nobody's doing to Candace Owens and Ian what they're doing to me. Nobody is. You can go look in the replies. You're not going to see a million people trying to debunk Ian Carroll and Candace Owens in the replies. Almost nobody is, even though their followers are like 10 to like 100 times bigger than me. Why is that? Doesn't that seem odd to you? Now imagine, ask yourself a question. Ask yourself a question. If this was a thermonuclear weapon, that was happening here, but it's obviously not, it's obviously video game effects. What do you think? How far do you think the government would go to try to cover that up? How far do you think the government would go to try to cover this up? How come nobody can debate me about these videos? How come nobody can debate me about these videos? The people that get referenced as the debunkers of these videos, Mick West, Jeff Wise, the Corridor crew, none of them have ever accepted a debate with me. I've challenged all of them. Mick West dodged 5 debates. Ian Carroll dodged 1. Mick West dodged 5 debates. If they're so confident, why won't they talk to me? The reason is because they know they will get destroyed. They're not out here to try to solve anything. They were trying to make the videos go away. They were trying to make it go away. The videos are 100% real. 100% real. So please, stop with this garbage that I'm a conspiracy theorist. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm not a UFO guy. I'm a science and technology guy. If this is hard for you to grasp, realize that's because you're not on my level. You don't understand technology. You don't understand physics. It has nothing to do with me being egotistical. It has to do with you and your ignorance. And I'm sorry for that, but there's no cure for being an idiot. Okay, let's get into the clips. First, Nick Fuentes has been going super hard, and he's been liking my posts. And here you go. You can see the proof right here. I screenshot it, put it in the Discord earlier today. Thank you, Candace Owens, for bravely defending Jimmy Kimmel. Bravely defending Jimmy Kimmel. Of all people, Jimmy Kimmel thanked Candace Owens. He thanked Candace Owens today, or last night or whatever, on his first show back, which is just like, we're just beyond absurdity at this point. Meanwhile, Candace Owens is busy blaming secret trap doors where tunnel Jews came out, and the tunnel Jews came out of the side of Charlie Kirk, and then they pressed their directed energy weapon button and zapped Charlie Kirk with a directed energy weapon, or whatever the hell these people are talking about now. It's gotten just so absurd, honestly. So let's listen to Nick for a minute here.
For me, I just say, bring it on. Bring it on. That's the answer. When people are saying nonsense like that, what we used to do, or what I should say the mainstream media did, what society did, is those people, including myself, would be censored. Banned, censored, blacklisted, you're crazy, you're psycho, name calling. For me, I would almost say I would like to debate one of those people. I'd love to talk to Ian Carroll, Candace Owens, Blumenthal, whoever. I would love to debate one of those people and put it to bed. You bring your facts, I'll bring my facts. Let's just talk about what's true and what's in reality. I don't want to, I don't like conspiracy theories on the left when they say a Groyper killed Charlie Kirk. I don't like the psycho conspiracy stuff on the right when they say energy weapons are being shot from a trap door and there's 7,000 decoys. I don't believe that either. So we have to just get to the bottom of it with honesty and without being afraid for where that's going to lead.
Yeah, it feels very
chat. Why do I like this guy so much? What kind of world I don't understand what world we're living in here. What world are we living in which I'm agreeing with Nick Fuentes and I want to be in put us in a tag team match, Ashton, Nick Fuentes versus Ian and Candace, right? Everybody wants to see that. It would be probably one of the biggest things ever. Let's be honest. In fact, I'm easily the lowest rung pseudo celeb on that list by far, but I already got the facts and evidence and I already jumped on this early on. So I've got a good case to be made that I should be in the panel on that case. Okay, next thing here. We're going to get to the Antifa terrorism here in a second, but I want to show a couple more clips where, oh, wait, I think I put them in my bookmarks. One sec. Boop, 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 boop. Okay, this is the new thing, real quick, that Candace has been pushing. Super weird.
Speaking about hiring.
Okay. Just to show you, I don't know. I can't take this woman seriously. But supposedly now she's claiming that the some kind of cult tied to MK Ultra and the bees are responsible?
Which is they make you think like, why do you want to know? Like, we just do whatever we want to do. It's like, I don't know. My children are like 5 and 4, actually. Parents should, of course, we need to be more involved. Like, how did we get here? That we feel like we're crazy for asking questions about the hiring practices at schools. And the feeling just didn't go away. I can show you this actually, because I was thinking like, I said to my husband, there is some weird underground, it's like I sense like imminent danger is coming. And for some reason, I feel like there is an underground that has emerged at schools and it's like related to bees. That's what I said. And I messaged multiple people about this. My sister, here are a couple of more text messages to other people. You can look at the time frame.
Meds now, Candace. Get on your meds. What the hell are you talking about?
Here, this is 8:30.
Has multiple accounts where she keeps discussing bees, and I just think it's weird. Like it could be code for drugs or something else.
August 30th. This is September 1st when we went off air. September 2nd, we were off air. And I started talking about people that were discussing bees in a way that didn't make sense. I'm like, I don't know if this is drugs. I don't know what it is, but it's weird. And so in a sentence, I just said, there's imminent danger coming. Okay. It is relating to a school. I think it's a communist underground. And I don't know why, but it has something to do with bees. Totally sensible thing to say to your husband. Then it came to...
That's a totally sensible thing to say to your husband. There's a secret underground, people MK Ultraing Tyler Robinson with bees. Okay, I can't, like, at this point, this is where I'm just like, I'm starting to feel bad for debunking these people because they're clearly not living in reality with the rest of us at this point, right? This is one day after she's talking about the tunnel Jews with the trapdoors and what have you. The only positive thing I can say about this is that I think like actually making fun of this finally is going to knock down this thing for like normal people. And the people say, oh, well, who's this? Emily. It's actually hilarious that you're on the same level as Candace. Respectfully, Candace will never be on my level. Now, you might be talking about popularity. Sure. I never wanted to be a popular person. If I wanted to grift you guys, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing right now. I wouldn't be acting the way that I'm acting either. You think I don't know how to fool low IQ idiots like you, Emily? Emily, you are... Look, I could psyop you in any way that I wanted. That's how easy it would be to psyop you. And that's what Candace Owens is doing to you. You think I couldn't pull that off? No. You know what is not as popular as fantastical stories about the space, Jewish space lasers? The truth. The truth is sometimes boring. Sometimes boring. That's the reality of the situation. And the reality of the situation is that if you're somebody that thinks that everything is fake and the government's always lying, you're going to be wrong almost all the time. Almost all the time. If you're somebody that can think clearly, who uses facts and evidence to make your conclusions, you're going to be right a lot of the time. You're brainwashed. She's doing the meme right now, chat. She's doing the meme right now, chat. You're brainwashed as she sits and watches Candace Owens while she's on her 4th wine, talking about how the bees are MK Ultraing the children. Yeah, I'm the brainwashed one, Emily. You got me. You got me, Emily. You got me. Guys, I did not plant Emily in the chat just to make this more engaging. That's completely organic interaction you just saw right there. Completely organic interaction. If you didn't believe it, real quick, one more clip. We just got to do one more. Here you go.
Support my show and what I believe, but support my right to share those beliefs anyway. I never would have imagined. Like Ben Shapiro, Clay Travis, Candace Owens, Mitch McConnell, Rand Paul, even my old pal Ted Cruz.
Bro, Ted Cruz, Rand Paul, Mitch McConnell, and Candace Owens. Those are the people that Jimmy Kimmel is thanking. Those are the people that support Jimmy Kimmel. He says it like it's a W. Mitch McConnell, the turtle. Rand Paul, who's just gone completely off the deep end. Ted Cruz. Jimmy Kimmel, who quite literally went on television and said, quote unquote, The MAGAs are trying to make Tyler Robinson about anything, or this is an exact quote. They're trying to make him into anything except for one of them. That's what he said. A direct lie. He knew he was lying when he said it, and he said it on network television. Claimed that Tyler Robinson was a MAGA, which is not true. He's a left-wing nut job who's a homosexual man who's in a relationship, dating, living with a trans furry. These people are completely divorced from reality. And they've aligned themselves with the other schizos that are completely divorced from reality as well. So, what happens from this? Well, the very next day, today, this morning, another left-wing nut job shoots up an ICE facility, or more specifically, an ICE truck, using another 30-06 rifle, the same rifle, similar rifle, similar variant to the one that was used to kill Charlie Kirk. Wrote on the bullets, some of the bullets that were unspent, one of them says anti-ICE on it. Literally says anti-ICE on it. Turns out he's a Democrat donor. His whole family are Democrats. And the first thing that I'm seeing on the internet is people are saying, we don't know. He could be a cartel hit. A cartel hit? Guys, are you kidding me right now? A cartel hit. Why would he write anti-ICE? Well, I don't know. He's shooting up an ICE facility, shot a bullet right through the window of an ICE facility, and you're going, I can't believe that he wrote anti-ICE on there. He was such a poor shot that he killed 2 detainees. He killed 2 detainees and injured another one. And then he took his own life. We'll just say he took his own life. And people in the replies are going, maybe it was a cartel hit. We have completely lost the plot. These people think we live in some kind of James Bond movie scenario. It's like, this is like what Nick is saying, is that it's wrong when both sides do it. It's wrong when the schizos on the right are just pushing their weird Israel nut job stuff. And it's wrong when the people on the left are claiming that it's MAGA or that it was a cartel hit or that we don't know what his motivations are. There's no way to know what his motivations are. We know what his motivations are. There is a literal left-wing domestic terrorism epidemic in this country. And it has been going on for years. We all see it. Christian schools are being shot up by trans people like every other week now. If you just look at the mass shootings that have occurred, the public mass shootings that have gotten a lot of attention, almost every single one is a nut job left-winger. And I would guarantee that they are all Redditors, every single one. They almost never release their social media, and it's really hard to find out their accounts, but I would almost guarantee that every single one is a Redditor. We have to just stop pretending, right? The left-wing people, if you go on Reddit, it's actually unbelievable. I went and took a look. I try to avoid it as much as possible. I went and looked. They're all in complete denial. They're going, oh, Tyler Robinson is a Republican. They're trying to make this guy into a left-winger just because it says anti-ICE on his bullets. All of them are now conspiracy theorists all of a sudden. Suddenly, every Democrat's a conspiracy theorist going, why it's so weird that it says anti-ICE on his bullet. Like implying that the feds wrote anti-ICE on the bullet. Really? Really? The people that make fun of conspiracy theorists, now all of a sudden, they're all the conspiracy theorists because otherwise they're at fault. Otherwise, their rhetoric has led to this. This is where we just have to be honest. We just have to be honest and say it like it is. There is a massive left-wing terrorism problem in the United States. Massive. And the question is, how do we stop it? How do we stop it? People are saying, this is a psyop. It's a psyop. Everything's a psyop. These people are the worst. I can't stand it. Nothing's real. Everything's a psyop. They're trying to divide us. They're trying to divide us, chat. They're writing anti-ice on the bullets to divide us. We are already as divided as you can possibly be. They don't need any psyops to divide us any further, chat. We are as divided as possible already. And there is no reconciliation. Reconciliation is not possible. If you think reconciliation is possible, take a look at Reddit. Take a look at what they're saying about it. Take a look at what the media, left-wing media, is saying about all these topics. They're minimizing it. Jimmy Kimmel couldn't even apologize for lying on television. Literally couldn't even apologize. Couldn't just say the words, "I'm sorry." It was Charlie Kirk's executive producer today had the best post. He said that all Jimmy Kimmel had to do was come out and say, "I'm sorry, I lied, I shouldn't have done that, it'll never happen again." That's it. Even if you don't believe it, that's all you have to do. And it would have solved the problem. And he can't do that. And you know why? Because these Redditors like Jimmy Kimmel, these left-wing psycho nutjobs, they can never, ever, ever admit when they're wrong. The woke left and the woke right, it's horseshoe theory. They're exactly the same. Neither of them can ever admit when they're wrong. The same way where Ian Carroll and Candace Owens can never admit when they're wrong. And when they are wrong, they don't say it. They just move on to the next thing. That's what they do. They don't admit they're wrong. They won't ever debate anybody because they'll get proven wrong, and they can't be proven wrong because it ends their grift. So instead, they just move on to the next thing. And the worst part about Jimmy Kimmel is the hypocrisy. The real hypocrisy, which is that he literally cheered when Tucker Carlson got fired, when Roseanne got fired, when Gina Carano got fired, when the anti-vaxxers, literally he wanted anti-vaxxers to be denied healthcare service. How sick in the head do you have to be to want people to be denied healthcare service? And you are going to go cry crocodile tears on TV claiming that you were unfairly censored because you lied and your employer suspended you for 3 days? Bro, we are not the same. Jimmy Kimmel got suspended for 3 days. I lost a job for writing a lawsuit against a mask mandate. Jimmy Kimmel gets suspended for 3 days for lying, and he's crying crocodile tears. Meanwhile, there's videos all over the internet of him bragging about all these other people, right-wingers, losing their jobs from the government cracking down on them. In fact, it just came out as well, was it today or yesterday, that YouTube, Facebook, they've now admitted that the Biden administration pressured them to delete people's YouTube channels. They admitted it now. It's literally 1,000 times worse than anything that's ever happened to any Democrat. Ever. And now these same people are crying that they're being censored? You've got to be off your rocker. Do you see any of the people that were crying? And this just shows how fake they are, you know? The thing I hate the most is the fakeness of it all. It's so fake. Their talking points are fake. Their crying is fake. Everything about them is fake. Do you see any of them, even one of them, bringing up how unfair it was that YouTube was being pressured by the government and Twitter. All these people were being pressured by the government to delete people and censor them. None of them ever. So it's all, that's what hypocrisy looks like, chat. That's hypocrisy. So what's the solution? What's the solution to our problem in this country? Yeah, people forgot the Twitter files too. They forgot, like, literally the Twitter files. Just, we're going to drop some more facts real quick before we get to the solution. The Twitter files, quite literally, the FBI, the federal government, was paying Twitter millions of dollars, millions with an M, millions of dollars for the privilege of censoring and moderating Twitter, for Twitter. Think about that. You can't make that up. James Comey had an email. It was James Comey, I think, right? Or not James Comey. Was it James Comey or one of the other FBI guys? Literally saying, hey, we just realized, or it was a Twitter post saying we can get reimbursed like $2.5 million or something like this for the FBI's requests for taking down people's Twitter accounts. Holy crap. That is a literal paper trail that shows that they were being paid. Oh, yeah, Chris Ray. Thank you very much. It was Chris Ray. Appreciate that. Thank you for the correction. They were quite literally being paid to remove people from social media. And the reason is because leftists, Redditors, they can't live in a world in which people have alternative ideas. They can't live in a world where people are telling them the truth. Because when they get told the truth, it breaks the illusion, the fake reality that they're living in. When people get told the truth, they get shattered. And so what these Redditors do, how they think, and I know a Redditor more than most people, right? I can smell a Redditor at 100 yards, right? They have a distinct odor of garbage and Cheetos. And what these people do and how they think is that if somebody says something they don't like, they're going to get them banned. That's how they view the world. And that's what they were doing on Twitter. That's what they were doing on Twitter for years. And the moment Elon Musk bought it, that ended. That ended. And now, and then after that, we lived in a world on Twitter, on X, where everybody was allowed to say whatever they want. And what did the Redditors do? They left. Since they could no longer censor other people, they left. Think about that. Think about that. They all said, we're going to leave. We can't censor and block people. We're going to leave and we're going to go to Blue Sky. We're going to go to our own echo chamber where we can censor people. That was their reaction. You even saw it in the UFO community. They all group and said, we're all going to leave. We're all going to go to Blue Sky with all the rest of the pedos and the other, criminals and weirdos. Reddit is already like this, guys. People say, so what's the answer? The answer is censorship. Uh-oh. It's about to get controversial. The answer to fixing the problem is censorship. And you say, action. No. The answer is never censorship. The answer is never censorship. What will happen? What will happen? Imagine what will happen when they use it on you. Have you been listening to me rant for the last 30 minutes? They've already been using it on us. They've already been using it on me. My Reddit got shut down in 2 weeks. I made a subreddit. It was deleted in 2 weeks. Do you want to know why it was deleted? I'm going to tell you why it was really deleted right now. I made a subreddit called MH370X. That was the name of it, MH370X. You can go find it. It's still banned right now on Reddit. Go check it out. MH370X was my subreddit that I made because the debunkers made the Airliner Abduction 2014. Who names their subreddit Airliner Abduction 2014? What the hell is that? And it was, that subreddit is controlled and has always been controlled by the debunkers from the beginning. Always. The purpose of that subreddit was to wrap everybody up who still believed the videos were real and to push disinformation, misinformation about the videos and to make the topic go away. That was their purpose. That was their intent. Let's not beat around the bush. That's exactly what they were trying to do. So I made my own subreddit. And you know what I did? I banned them from my subreddit. I banned all the debunkers from the subreddit so that they could have their own community and we could have ours for the truth, for finding out the facts and the details, sharing the details about the videos, for investigating, for posting new things that came up. And what they did was they banned me. They literally banned my subreddit. They gave me no reason whatsoever. They didn't even give a reason. They didn't even bother with a reason. They just said, you're permanently banned, no warning whatsoever, permanently banned. I appealed. I got no response for weeks. I sent in another follow-up saying, hey, why did you ban my subreddit? I didn't do anything wrong. I didn't break any rules whatsoever. And they just said, nope, you're not being unbanned. And they gave me no reason whatsoever. So when people say censorship is wrong, there's no censorship, they're going to come back at you. Dude, they already did. They already did. And let's be clear. They're going to do it again. If they ever get in power again, they're going to do it again to you. Get that through your head right now. If you're somebody who says censorship is bad, they don't care that you think censorship is bad. They love censorship and they don't care about your opinion. The answer is censorship. Now that I've said that, let me put the caveat to it. Who do we censor? Who do we target? The answer is we target them. We target the people that are censoring us. We take away their institutions and their apparatus that they use for censorship. You use the exact same tools that they used back on them. That's the answer. And you have to do it now, while we still have power, while Trump is still in the office. You dismantle Reddit. Completely dismantle Reddit. Every moderator, all these, what do they call them? The super Jannies or whatever. These moderators that control every single subreddit, you permanently ban them from the platform. They're never allowed to be on their own platform ever again. You remove them. Every subreddit that is related to Antifa or any type of radical group, permanently deleted. They did the same thing with a subreddit called No New Normal. I was actually part of No New Normal back in the day. I had a different Reddit account that I ended up deleting. And I deleted it right after No New Normal got banned. No New Normal, the only point of it was to show the absurdity of COVID restrictions. It was basically a meme subreddit, No New Normal, that was making fun of the insane COVID restrictions. And they banned it for no reason. They banned it for like medical misinformation. So the answer is we do the same thing. You don't necessarily have to take down all of Reddit. What you have to do is you have to get rid of the administrators, you have to get rid of the moderators, and you have to get rid of any problematic subreddit, which is there is many. And we don't need new laws. This is something that Matt Walsh correctly pointed out. We don't need new laws to solve this problem. We already have all the laws in the book. We just have to enforce the rules equally. Enforce the rules equally. I got banned under my account got permanently banned recently, like a year ago or whatever. In my free energy post, I got banned under hate speech. Permanently banned, site-wide ban for the hate speech rule. What did I say that was so offensive? I said that Redditors are mentally ill. Not any specific Redditor, just that in general, Redditors are mentally ill. And they are. Redditors are mentally ill. That's a fact. It's a factual statement. It's a true statement. Redditors are mentally ill. And they permanently banned me under hate speech. Meanwhile, you can go around right now, and there's people literally advocating for people's deaths openly. Advocating for people's deaths, lying openly, and none of them are actioned. None of them get punished by the rules that are quite literally site-wide violations. So this is the thing. We don't need new laws. We don't need new rules. We just need to enforce the rules that are already on the books. We just need equality, fairness. Justice is about equality under the law. If you punish one person for this, you punish the other people for it as well. When people are saying that, they were saying that January 6th was an insurrection, which it wasn't. It wasn't an insurrection. What we're seeing right now across America, this radical left-wing terrorism, you could argue that that is an insurrection. You could argue that that is the real insurrection that's going on right now. You've got Gavin Newsom literally just a couple days ago saying that we've got to fight back against ICE. He passed a law that ICE agents aren't allowed to wear masks. You can't even make this shit up. I'm the guy that wrote a lawsuit against Gavin Newsom that the mask mandate that he mandated we wear masks, that was unconstitutional. The very same guy is now trying to pass a not banning masks, but only for feds. You can't get more hypocritical than this, chat. You can't get more hypocritical than this. So we have to shut this stuff down. We have to burn their institutions, their media disinformation apparatus to the ground using the laws that are already on the books. That's what's required. That's what has to happen. Let me see here. Will we... Okay. Next topic, chat. Let me just make sure. So the reason why I've changed is, well, I don't know. It's not really a great talking point. I was just going to say that I think I've become too high profile to be kind of brought into the fold of this, weird disclosure stuff. The reality of the MH370 videos is they're never going to admit that those videos are real. The MH370 videos, thermonuclear weapon, advanced plasma, condensed matter physics technology, the government's never going to admit those things are real. And the reason is because that's a strategic advantage against our adversaries. The weaponry that we see in the MH370 videos, which zaps the plane out of space-time, is an advanced weapon that is a strategic advantage. It gives us an advantage over Russia, China, and the rest of our adversaries. The only time that those videos will ever be admitted to being real is when our adversaries already have it. When our adversaries already have it, and potentially when they use it as well. They are never, ever, ever going to admit it. Not ever. This is the death of disclosure. And I have realized that. So the topic of tonight's stream, the name of tonight's stream is All Things Must Be Destroyed. Just yesterday, guys, I posted this. Where is it? Here it is. Omnia delenda sunt. That's Latin. You know what that means? It means all things must be destroyed. So, in our last stream, we talked about thermonuclear weapons. We talked about the suppression of this technology. I was on a space yesterday where we talked about it as well. After all of these revelations that we've had recently about the PEDs, about the classification, the Sigma classifications of nuclear weapons, I text messaged my buddy, U.S. Navy engineer Salvatore Pais. And I said this. I'm just going to read it directly. I said, I'm questioning what's right and wrong basically every day now. I don't think we can handle this level of technology. I'm watching people's minds break, and they haven't even seen anything yet. Do you know what he replied back to me and said? He replied back to me and said, Omnia delenda sunt. That was his response. That was what he told me back. The scariest thing, and the reason why I've decided to shift into this political side quest, or whatever you want to call it, this new quest, is because I've been seeing people's minds break all the time now. all the time. I'm seeing it in the Charlie Kirk situation. I'm seeing it with AI. As AI comes out, nobody can distinguish what's real anymore. And that's why I played the intro video of the Carl Sagan, is that no one can tell what's real or fake anymore. And people's minds are breaking over this. Redditors' minds are breaking. They're no longer living in the same reality that we're living in. The Redditors are living in a Disney Marvel movie fictional version of reality. And so the question then is, if we can't even handle basic reality, what's going to happen when we try to tell people that we've got possibly alien technology, if this technology comes from aliens 100 years ago or whatever, that we've got technology that manipulates time and space, quite literally time machines? People are not going to be able to take this information. I joked previously about how people are going to commit suicide. Mass suicides will happen if they have to admit that I've been right about this technology, about MH370. And I did so, and I thought it was funny. And now I'm watching people's minds break, and it's not funny. I'm watching Candace Owens and Ian Carroll fall down the rabbit hole and be completely detached from reality, and it's not funny anymore. It's not funny. It's sad to watch, and it concerns me about how we're going to move forward as a society, as a civilization. Because the reality is we haven't seen anything yet. They haven't seen anything yet. And I don't think either of them really believe that MH370 videos are real. So when they're forced to accept that reality, I fear for what's going to happen to people. And so when Salvatore Pais responds to me back, and he says, all things must be destroyed. Wow. Tells me a lot about his perception. Because Sal knows those videos are real. People like Hal Puthoff, Charles Chase, Eric Davis, they know the videos are real. And they're hiding it. They're hiding it because they know it will break people's minds. It will break them, completely destroy their mental state. It's not just a matter of greed. Of course, that's a component of it. They're making billions of dollars secretly off these companies that they're putting out there. It's not just a matter of strategic advantage over our adversaries. It's also a matter that society will crumble. Society will crumble. And it's not just the left or just the right. It's people on both sides. It's people on both sides that are not going to be able to accept this reality, this new reality. It's quite scary. And this is where I realized, okay, if that's the case, then what's the point of this? If everybody thinks I'm a grifter that's grifting off these videos, even the people that support me secretly think that I'm a grifter like they are. They think that I'm one of them that's just playing this game to make money or whatever. Then why bother? Why bother? Because there's other things that we can do to help change this world. And one of them is debunking all this nonsense that people are pushing out there all the time, 24/7. Because the Ash conformity experiment doesn't just apply to advanced technology. It doesn't just apply to UFOs and things like that. It also applies to these political issues that are coming up, where people go, no, it's not. That's not a left-wing terrorist guy. That's a MAGA guy. Or no, it was the cartels or the space Jews or whatever, right? These things also hurt the fabric of society. And what really was the impetus for this was obviously Charlie Kirk's assassination. That it actually physically changed my perception of everything. It radicalized me in a way. Because I've watched so many clips of him, and I get emotional every time I watch them. Because he was so clearly a nice guy, just trying to live his own life, trying to change people's minds, and he was respectful of everybody, unlike me. I'm a piece of shit compared to Charlie Kirk. It's not even close. And his legacy what he was trying to do cannot be forgotten, not ever be forgotten. And whatever we have to do to make sure that his legacy lives on, I'm happy to do it. Happy to. He makes me actually want to be a man of God. He really does. I don't know that I ever will be in the way that he is, but he makes me. And the things that impacted me the most is when he says, Jesus saved my life. He's like, I had so many problems in my life, and Jesus helped fix those problems for him. And you can see it. You can see it in the way he interacts with people, that it really did. It's not just him saying that. Not just him saying that. Meanwhile, we're dealing with things like this. And just to show you that I'm not joking about people's minds being broken. It's not a joke when I say this. This isn't me. People, when I say people are mentally ill, a lot of people are like, why are you being mean to people, calling them mentally ill? Like, I'm just being literal. We have a mental health epidemic in the United States. We don't teach people critical thinking. And instead, people get sucked in to all these weird grifting people on the internet who are just trying to advance for clicks. Like TikTok was the worst thing to ever happen to society. The worst thing ever. Because it turned people who are Uber drivers into truth seekers. Now your Uber driver that delivers you your food all of a sudden is the next truth seeker that's solving FBI mysteries, right? And on the other side, if you tell people, if you come out and lie and tell people, you go from masks don't work, don't wear a mask, there's no point to wear a mask, to now the next day you flip and you go, nope, actually the only thing keeping you alive is a piece of cloth over your face. It breaks people's minds. It literally breaks people's minds when you do that to people. When you brainwash people in that way with political propaganda, it breaks their minds. And I've known this. I used to talk to my aunts. My one aunt passed away, but I used to talk to my aunts during COVID, and I used to say, the reason why I'm so against the mask mandate is because it's going to break people's mind, because people can't, when they are so beholden to authority that they'll believe anything the authority says without question, then when it's all over, they can't go back to normal again. They can never go back to normal again because you've convinced them that the only thing keeping them alive was a piece of cloth on their face. This is Ben Affleck and Jennifer Garner's daughter. This is not 2020. This is 2025. This was the UN just a couple of days ago. She's wearing an N95 mask. Listen to the words that she's saying right here. She's talking to the UN, trying to convince them that we need to bring mask mandates back. How this is like, you need to be in an institution immediately. How is she not talking to a therapist? And how is she not institutionalized? I don't know. Listen to this. This is the most insane shit I've ever heard.
For adults, the relentless beat of back to normal, ignoring, downplaying, and concealing both the prevalence of airborne transmission and the threat of long COVID, manifested in a series of choices. Young people lacked real choice in the matter and information about what was being chosen for us. Here's what we know about SARS-CoV-2. It is airborne, floating and lingering in the air. One infection can result in disabling damage to almost every cell in the body, from the brain and heart to the nerves and blood.
One infection can almost damage every cell in the body? That's not how viruses work, lady. It's a respiratory virus. This is like the amount of misinformation that was pushed during COVID. People now believe that COVID will affect your cognitive ability. They think that it gives you heart attacks. The reason why they think that is because what they did during COVID was they conflated all these different ailments together. And then they said, they did this because they needed to increase the death count. The death count was super low for COVID. That's just a fact. And so in order to lie to people, what they did was they said, oh, if you had COVID and you also had a heart attack, then the COVID caused the heart attack. That's what they did. And so then people immediately now think that COVID causes all these issues. This lady literally thinks that COVID is like some kind of super Ebola virus, right? Like, it's out of her mind. And she thinks that that the mask is the only thing preventing it from happening.
Blood vessels. Every subsequent infection increases the risk of long COVID. And
there is no such thing as long COVID. Let's just be clear. There is no such thing as long COVID. That's not a real thing. I work in healthcare IT, and I'm very careful about what I say. So let me just say this kind of vaguely speaking. There are long COVID clinics that have been set up, and they generally include mental health professionals because people have decided that, oh, I was sick for 6 months. No, that was just in your head, man. That's not how viruses work. You're not sick with a virus for 6 months. It's just not how it works. Go look up how the viral replication cycle works. If you were sick with a virus for 6 months, you're dead. Okay? Your body is going to either beat the virus or it's not. Look up how immunity works. Look up how white blood cells work. These people are living in a reality that's not based on science.
Places people who already have it in greater danger. Here's what we don't know, is what it does to reinfect children over and over and over.
Reinfect children? Children are the least susceptible to COVID. Nobody even really knows why. There's not even a real, this was one of the things that I investigated back in the COVID days. Children have zero risk from COVID, like 0.0000001% chance of death from COVID, like literally nothing. It's less than the statistical, margin of error, right? It's a functionally, statistically equivalent to zero. And these people have made up this weird lie that children are a danger from COVID when they aren't.
Again, with no end point in sight from the day they are born. We are about to find out.
We are about to find out. What year does she think it is? It's 2025. COVID was over years ago. Even if you believed in COVID, even if you believed COVID was this scary virus and everybody was dying, it was over years ago, man. It was over years ago.
Dr. Akiko Iwasaki says, at this point, the whole population is the control group. And after only 5 years, long COVID has surpassed asthma as the most common chronic illness in children. 5 years. I am terrified for the children who do not or soon will not know a world without debilitating pain and exhaustion, who cannot trust their bodies.
Debilitating pain and exhaustion. Guys, pain is also a mental thing. Pain is a mental thing, and so is exhaustion. Just because you're tired and exhausted, it's not because you're sick with COVID. It's because you're a lazy fuck. That's the answer. It's probably because you don't get enough sleep. There's about 1 million things that could cause fatigue that are not related to viruses. And this is why long COVID is such a ridiculous fake thing. People have said, what are the common ailments of long COVID? Fatigue and pain. It's called getting older. It's called not getting enough sleep. It's called not taking care of yourself. It's called going outside and getting some exercise. Why don't you try working out once in your life, every once in a while?
To play, explore, and imagine, and who will not know the potential of their own minds unfettered by the cognitive damage from COVID-19. The
cognitive damage from COVID-19, she finally got one thing right. The propaganda around COVID-19 gave people like her literal cognitive damage.
And I am furious on their behalf. It is neglect of the highest order to look children in the eyes and say, we knew how to protect you, and we didn't do it. We have access to a technology to prevent airborne disease.
Guys, we have access to the technology to prevent airborne disease. Guys, masks do not stop airborne viruses. An airborne virus can stay in the air for at least 30 minutes. And it will just be floating there all the time. Even if you believe that the mask was somehow stopping it. Okay, the virus comes to your mask. Now where's the virus? Oh, it's on your mask. Now it's in your mask. You got stopped by the mask, but you're still breathing in all the time. Do you think that the virus just isn't able to get in as you keep breathing? The mask is some imaginary magical shield that filters out viruses? I seriously don't understand what these people's thoughts are. We have the technology now. It's called, nobody could ever figure this out before. We have the technology now. It's called covering up your mouth and your nose with a piece of cloth all the time. Somehow magically makes you immune to viruses, even though the virus is so tiny. that the mask, the weaving of the mask, it's like going through a mesh fence, like putting grains of sand through a mesh fence. Like, again, this is just basic science. This is not even advanced stuff, guys. Compared to quantum mechanics, electrical engineering, this is basic stuff. And the best part, the last thing I'm going to say on this is probably the first time I've really gone off on the COVID thing. The other thing people say, okay, let's just say that the mask is magically stopping 95% of the viral particles that are coming in somehow, right? Somehow it's doing that. How many viral particles does it take to be infected? How many? Not a lot. Presumably, it might just take one. All it takes is one viral particle to get inside one of your cells, replicate itself, and then burst. That's how the viral replication process works. And do you know what we call that when the viral particle goes into your cell, replicates, and bursts? We call that symptoms. Whoa, wow, basic high school biology. We call what happens when the viral particle does that destroys your cell. We call that the fallout from that. We call that symptoms, like having a headache, like having a runny nose. Those symptoms are a cause of the viral replication process. Simple as that. Absurd, chat. Okay, actually, I want to listen to this crazy lady a little bit longer.
Millions of our ancestors and millions of people around the world today would kill for, and we refuse to use it. And I shudder to think of where we will be.
Yeah, our ancestors they would just, to kill for it.
Another 5 years of unmitigated infection and reinfection. But let me say on the topic of generational memory that while I imagine no one in this room was alive in the time of Jon Snow or even Semmelweis, many of you fought the long.
Did she just say Jon Snow? Please tell me she's not talking about Game of Thrones. Please tell me that there's somebody called Jon Snow out there that's not Game of Thrones. Please tell me that.
Long and hard battle against indoor smoking. My only memory of that era, at almost 20 years old, is being confused as a child about the no smoking signs on planes.
Okay, I can't listen to it anymore. That's all I got. That's just too much for me, chat. Ladies, too crazy for me. Okay, UFO stuff. The other big thing that's been happening here is the UFO hearings that just occurred. Now, as you guys know, I have been saying repeatedly, what is the energy source of the UFOs? The secret of UFOs has never been about aliens. Aliens are fake and gay. They're fake and gay. They're also very real, but they're definitely fake and gay. And the real prize of the UFO technology is, how is your little magical UFO, how is your little flying saucer, how's it doing this? How is it flying around like this? Guys, this is why I'm a debunker now. This is why I'm a debunker. Because it's so absurd how obsessed these people are with aliens. It's actually like as weird as the whole mask thing. I used to listen on a lot of these spaces. Guys, don't join these UFO spaces. They're just... The one that freaked me out the most was listening to Danny Sheehan, who probably a nice guy. I've talked to his wife before, but my God, the only thing they could talk about was how the aliens were sexually assaulting people. That was like their favorite topic. Like the way they talked about it creeped me out, right? It's like the way how people are afraid that trans people are like sexual predators. I'm afraid that like these UFO people are going to like sexually assault the aliens when they come. Like keep the aliens. If they are out there, they need to stay away from Earth because we got a lot of sick sexual predators here who want to do some weird shit to the aliens. Real talk. Keep the aliens safe, chat. We might have to start a new movement, actually. Now, I'm making this up right now. Keep the aliens safe from left-wing nut jobs who want to have sex with them. We have to do that. The real prize of the aliens is the energy source, their energy technology. And it's a source of energy technology that we've already figured out a long time ago. We figured it out a long time ago. It's called neutronic fusion. Neutronic fusion, everybody. What is neutronic fusion? I've already taught you guys enough science. That's part of the reason why I've moved away from the sciences. You guys, I've taught you guys everything. If you want to know the science, you can look at 350 live streams, and we will continue to go over it. Neutronic fusion is direct energy conversion. Direct energy conversion. What does direct energy conversion mean? This means that when we produce when we're producing electricity, we're doing it at near perfect efficiency. There's no heat coming off. So if I have a generator, a motor, and I'm spinning it or whatever, right? I've got it's going to be heat is happening in the form of friction. Well, now apply that same mechanism to nuclear physics, to nuclear power. We're saying, okay, I'm going to create a nuclear bomb. Let's just scale it up. A nuclear bomb, right? Boom. You say, oh, it's this huge release of energy. You would say, oh, I can take something the size of my iPods here, right? Something this small can blow up part of the city because there's so much energy in here because E equals MC squared. Energy equals mass. This is mass times the speed of light squared. And what that means is the amount of energy in a tiny, tiny thing is actually a huge amount of energy. It's actually a huge amount of energy. But when we do a big boom, a nuclear explosion, what comes out, a lot of it is in the form of heat. Like when we think of like Hiroshima and Nagasaki, we think of like people's faces being melted off. Or we think of the radiation that causes mutations. That's what we think of. The reason why that happens is because of neutrons. The neutrons that get released are released in the form of heat, and radiation. So what is aneutronic fusion then? This is saying we're going to create a nuclear bomb that has no heat involved in it, that is just releasing pure energy being released, pure electricity with almost no neutrons at all. That is the gold standard for energy production. It doesn't get better than that. You're basically saying, I'm going to convert this mass directly into energy. I'm going to convert this perfectly into energy, perfectly into electricity, without that excess heat. So just to really drive this point home, and then I'm going to show a clip here. When we think of nuclear power, we actually conventionally think of it as doing that. We think of it as aneutronic, but it's not. When we're thinking of nuclear power, what we're really doing is we're heating up. We actually use that heat. We make our little boom, and we use that heat to boil water. What? Ashton, are you being serious? That's how nuclear power works? Yes. We create heat from a nuclear reaction. We heat up water, and then that water turns to steam. And then we have that steam go through a turbine. And the turbine spins, and it produces electricity. So it's like a 3-stage process. Does that sound efficient to you, chat? No, not efficient. No. This is the reason why aneutronic fusion has been suppressed and hidden. This is probably also the same reason why solar panels aren't allowed to be more than like 20 or 30% efficient. Just as Tim Pool said, free energy is about efficiency. It's about efficiency. This is the thing that they've been hiding. They've been hiding aneutronic fusion. They've been hiding direct energy conversion. And then what they found out, the big, big secret. The secret that they didn't want anybody to know about. They found out if they create an aneutronic fusion bomb, if they scale that up, and they take that nuke and they remove the A bomb portion, they remove the neutrons, and they turn it into a fusion bomb that's aneutronic, It releases so much electricity that it warps space-time. It warps space-time. Why? Why does it warp space-time? That should be the question. Why does this huge amount of electricity warp space-time? Let me have Leonard Susskind explain it to you. Why does the huge amount of energy
if you remove matter and you remove radiation,
Yeah.
what causes the electric fields? Like, what's the perturbation and what?
I can't answer what causes it. I can tell you that the uncertainty principle requires it to be there.
But we're making the assumption there is no electric field, there is no mass. I thought you...
Did I say there's no electric field?
So de Sitter space has only the dark energy. Or
right.
Okay.
It has no real photons. It has only the 0-point energy.
Okay, you can have an electric field without real photons.
It just doesn't have any charges.
It's there anyway. The field fluctuates anyway. It doesn't need charges.
Right.
Because the 0-point energy is electromagnetic in nature. The 0-point energy is electromagnetic. And the 0-point energy is the fabric of space-time. So, naturally, if we create a big boom that's just electricity, it's interacting with space-time. It's interacting with that 0-point energy. This is the big secret that the U.S. government did not want to have come out. This is what connects the UFO phenomenon to energy suppression and then also to space-time manipulation. If you take a huge amount of electricity in a small area, small region, you create this huge energy density. That energy density, according to Einstein's equations, will warp space-time as we think it. That's what's happening in the MH370 videos. That's what they've been hiding. Now watch this. Remember Dylan Borland, guys? This was one of the UFO whistleblowers that was just talking to Congress. Well, he just went on. I think it was today, yesterday. I don't know. I don't really watch. I've literally never watched Weaponized or Jeremy Corbell, not even one time. Here he is talking to Jeremy Corbell. By the way, I saw something about this guy where he was just literally like sucking these guys off, being like, Jeremy Corbell and George Knapp has kept me safe for years. They've kept me safe. I'm actually like kind of sus on all these whistleblowers. I got to be honest with you guys, man, because it feels like, why aren't they just doing what I'm doing? Why aren't these whistleblowers that claim to know about all this stuff? Why aren't they just out here being like, hey, here's the answer. It's energy. It's aneutronic fusion. It seems like it's not that hard to just say that without breaking NDAs. All right. Well, anyway, let's listen to this. Here he is on Weaponized.
I have direct first-hand knowledge and exposure to crash recovery, reverse engineering, integration of technology into redacted, as well as the most important piece of technology on the planet, and it's not the craft themselves.
It would be the power source.
You can make that assessment yourself. I have direct...
It's the power source? Bro, is that the first time that they've said that it's the power source? What's the secret? The power source of the UFOs. We know what it is. It's aneutronic fusion. Always has been. And there he is. Like this, now I'm seeing what's going on, right? Like, why are all these weird UFO people? Why have they been ignoring me? Why have they been trying to discredit me? Why have they been trying to diminish me? Why have they been trying to not allow me to go on podcasts? Jeremy Corbell was the guy that told Joe Rogan the videos were fake. Joe Rogan said that on the podcast. I also blamed George Knapp, and I still do, because George Knapp and Jeremy Corbell are like this. So George Knapp is not blameless. I don't care. Now they're saying everything that I've been saying for the last 2 years. Guys, if you've been watching this content, you are light years ahead of where the public is at, where the UFO community is at on this topic. What they're doing is, what I'm predicting at least they're doing, is they're trying to get ahead of the narrative that we've been forming. This community has become influential. This community has become influential in pushing forward the narratives that are going to get disclosure. But they're never going to allow me to be the guy. They're never, ever going to allow me to be the guy. Let's just be honest about it, right? We got to be honest about everything. They're never going to allow Ashton Forbes to be the guy that gives us disclosure. They want to build up some fictional hero, right? They want to build some fictional hero up. They wanted to build Lou Elizondo up to be a hero. They wanted to build up David Grush to be a hero. They want to build up Dylan Borland. They want some hero that is their guy, that he's their pinnacle white knight guy. This is funny. And so people say, so you're too emotional? What do you mean I'm too emotional? What does that mean exactly? When you say you're too emotional, what you really mean is you're mean to me. You're mean to me. You expose my lies. That's what these people mean. When people say you're too emotional, I mean, what am I emotional about? I'm emotional about destroying grifters, frauds, and phonies, right? That's what I do. When I attack people, it's because they're lying. And this is what they're afraid of. This is why I can't be the guy. They don't want somebody who's going to go on national television and annihilate them. That's going to discredit them. They're scared of being exposed as liars, as grifters, as frauds. That's what they're afraid of. That's why they can never allow me to be the guy. They want somebody who's going to be nice to everybody. Somebody that gets along. Somebody that won't expose their little game that they've been playing for years. Right? They don't want somebody that's going to go on Joe Rogan and say, hey, what have George Knapp and Jeremy Corbell ever accomplished ever in the last 30 years? Give me one accomplishment. Crickets. Just tell me, guys. Anybody in the chat? Give me one thing that Ross Coulthart, Jeremy Corbell, or George Knapp have ever accomplished related to UFOs. I think you could say George Knapp helped put Bob Lazar on the scene. You could say maybe that's an accomplishment. Maybe. If you would ask me, what's my accomplishments? Well, I exposed that nuclear bombs are warping space-time. I exposed that aneutronic fusion directed energy conversion has been solved and out there for a very long time. That's just a couple right off the top of my head. I exposed the biggest conspiracy ever, MH370, plane that's still missing. These people can't list literally one accomplishment. They literally can't even list one accomplishment. And now they all went super hard on me. They all went all in on the videos being fake. And now if I end up being the guy that's the disclosure person, then they all look like morons. Their careers are over. Their careers are over. Think about that. How they feed themselves, how they feed their children and their families is dependent upon me not being the guy. Pretty sad, right? That's why, exactly. This is why they say I'm too emotional, because I literally make them cry. I literally make them cry. And I'll be honest with you guys, I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to stop doing that. I'm going to keep doing that. I'm going to keep doing it about politics as well. So the only thing Ian Carroll has been correct about is that I'm a demon. I have not denied that. I'm a monster, chat. I'm an absolute monster. I'm the Laura Loomer of UFO disclosure. I don't give a crap about these people. I don't give a crap about being nice to people that are complete phonies and frauds. People that have been gatekeeping stuff for national security. I should be nice to those people? Why? Give me one reason. Give me one reason why I should be nice to these people. They've done nothing but be shitty to me for 2 years straight. They've done nothing but try to diminish me, attack me, in some cases stalk me, and now I'm supposed to be nice to them? No way in hell. No way in hell. Ian Carroll was gaslighting me for a week. Wouldn't answer one question. Wouldn't even answer a single question, gaslighting me nonstop. And now I've got to be nice to him. Why? No way. No way. I brought Salvatore Pais back into the mainstream. People had forgotten about Salvatore Pais, and I got in touch with him. I realized he's 100% legit. Put him back onto the mainstream. And he's another person they tried to diminish. Why did they try to diminish Salvatore Pais? Because he's like me. All things must be destroyed. That's the name of the live stream tonight. Okay, guys, let's go to the super chats, baby. This has been a fun one. Thank you guys for hanging out, even though we've been talking politics, and I know it upsets people. The last thing I want to say is this. Somebody brought this up, which is that guys and girls are different. Girls, like, are vicious, man. Girls, like, they just hate each other. And when they hate each other, they're just complete nasty monsters. And they just will never talk to each other ever again. You know, you're dead to me. For me, when I go hard on people, on the bros, it's like I could still be friends with them later on, right? Like, yeah, you know what? We just fist fought each other. We just had a bare knuckle match. And then you can come out and be like, okay, let's go chill. Let's go get a drink. Let's go, catch a basketball game or something, right? Like, guys just have this ability where, like, you can get in a fight and just be like, okay, yeah, but we're cool again. Guys just don't care, right? So that's kind of my view as well. And I want you guys to realize this too. Like, let's just be real about this. Like, the persona that I represent on a live stream is obviously different than what you see in the podcast that I do. I am still myself when I'm on the live stream, but I take it up a notch. I increase the hyperbole a little bit. I make it a little bit more entertaining because I know it's more fun to watch. It's more fun to watch when, you get a little bit more vocal, when you get a little bit more into it, emotional, I guess you could say. So don't take everything I say here 100% seriously. Still, I'm giving you the facts, but you got to separate the social media persona from when you're actually, having a cordial conversation one-on-one with somebody. Okay, super chats. Thank you guys in the pill chat. You guys have been on fire, pill chat. Oh yeah, and Kurt Metzger. So Tony Animal 1 says Kurt Metzger shouted you out the other day. So yes, actually Kurt Metzger, was it last night? I was going to show the text message. I'm not going to bother. I don't care. Kurt Metzger is still my boy. Kurt Metzger, obviously I've riled up the whole right-wing conspiratard group. So Kurt Metzger around midnight a couple nights ago just starts, or it was last night? Maybe last night. Yeah, I think it was last night. Or 2 nights ago, yeah. He starts spamming me a bunch of stuff. Israel did it. Israel, MK Ultra, blah, blah, blah. And so we went back and forth a little bit. And I was like, dude, you're not using the scientific method, bro. I was like, this ain't it. This ain't the one you want to go all in on. And he's telling me, I'm on a news show with Jimmy Dore, and therefore I know about all this stuff. And I know that the guy was MK Ultra, and therefore blah, blah, blah. And, I still love Kurt. You guys can watch my interview I did with Kurt. He's a great guy, but he's wrong about this one. The Charlie Kirk thing was not Israel. It was not Israel. And so he kind of took a shot at me, I think, on one of his live streams that he did recently, where he claimed, oh, he's the orb guy or whatever. And he's the orb guy and he doesn't believe in this conspiracy. Isn't that silly? And I went, this is what I told him. Dude, there's a lot of messages. We went back and forth for like 45 minutes. And Kurt, when Kurt messages you, it's like, we were going back and forth. Where is it? His last message was Israel did it, by the way. At 1 a.m, I get a message from Kurt Metzger. The last message is Israel did it, by the way. I still love him. He's a funny guy. So that's why I don't want to go hard on him. What did I tell him? So yeah, I'll just read a couple of them for you guys. I'll just read a couple of them for you, right? I go, is it really that unbelievable that a homosexual brainwashed Redditor living with a trans furry wanted to kill Charlie? Like, they want to kill all of us. I say, just go read Reddit, bro. And he says, yeah, I was in NYC at 9/11. It seemed like that then also. Spoiler alert, it didn't happen how they said. Now, if you can spot a goddamn plane eating a plasma portal, how is it that an actual genocide is invisible to you? I know both are true myself. It's not, quote unquote, the Jews. And then my response was, bro, it's a thermonuclear weapon. That's my response. And he goes, what is? And I say, in those videos, the MH370 videos, it's a literal nuke. It's a literal nuke. And he goes, oh, okay, very possible. But impossible that Israel would kill Charlie Kirk with the crash, dummy? And so, yeah. And I say, yes, Israel didn't kill Charlie Kirk. It's not that they can't. Of course they could. They just didn't. There's no evidence. So anyway, that was part of our back and forth. It goes back for a while, what have you. Yeah, it's kind of weird when people, so these are the kind of arguments where, still love him, but end of the day, sorry, guys, Israel didn't take out Charlie Kirk. It's just not what happened. There's only one version of the truth. The truth doesn't have different ways that it can go down. Woke and Walked says, gifted the can, Jesus saves is not an empty cliche. It is something that pulls at your heart when you are in doubt and fills your heart when you believe. God bless you, Ashton, for all you do. Thank you, Woke and Walked. Thank you, everybody in the pill chat. You guys have always been really dope. I appreciate that. Now, let's take a look if there's any others. Okay. Now, the super chats that we got. Thank you, War Ranch LLC. You've been out there for a long time. I appreciate the care package you sent me a while back. You're the bomb. Everybody, check out War Ranch. Paul Gleason, thank you very much. Yeah, guys, and I'm always going to keep it truthful, even when people disagree. I have no problem putting my opinions out there, even when everyone disagrees. I don't care if they call me a Zionist shill. I don't care if they call me a grifter. It really doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Thank you very much, Mick Leonard. Love the high IQ. In your case, how high? I don't know. I don't really care about things like IQ, what have you. I know some people out there are like, I have 160 IQ. That makes me better than you. I don't believe in any of that shit. This is the difference between me and like racists and stuff like that, where people think that, oh, certain people are dumber or what have you. No, intelligence is not just what you're born with. Intelligence is also a matter of your environment. It's also a matter of your environment and how you were raised. So for me, I think that all people start off exactly the same. That's how I view people in general. No matter your skin color, no matter your religion, everybody starts off exactly the same. But obviously, if you're raised a certain way, educated a certain way, you're going to be more or less intelligent. What I think of as intelligence is critical thinking ability. What is your ability to not see the world in black and white? What is your ability to see the world in shades of gray, to be able to look introspectively at your own biases, and put those biases aside? That's how I look at intelligence and critical thinking. War Ranch, the follow-up, Comey is going to jail. Yeah, and there was a new update that James Comey actually is potentially going to be under investigation. I don't remember what it's actually for, but I am glad because a lot of these people that were in positions were definitely lying. They were using their authority in the government to lie to people, and they should face consequences for that, especially if now that the new administration is in, that they can prove that those people were lying. If so, hammer them. Hammer them. Not only should we be taking down the institutions that are brainwashing people, but anybody that was in a position of authority that was intentionally lying to people, that we can find direct evidence of it, those people should get charges, right? Because we have to show that that's not an acceptable thing to do. This is the olive branch that I would extend to the people that say censorship is always bad. Okay, great. Then we have to destroy the apparatus that allowed them to do the censorship to begin with. We have to tear that down and make that not possible for them to do it again. And we have to do it quick before they come back in power again. Zapparoo. Thank you very much, Zapparoo. Would you also include their, what? Nanes? I don't know what this means. I think this was contextual based on something I was saying, but I don't know what that means. Thank you very much, Zapparoo. The spinning top is starting to wobble. Yes, it is, chat. Yes, it is. And then Ryan Hall says, Jesus saves, brother. Jesus saves. I agree. Zapparoo, thank you, Ashton. You are needed this coarse sand scraper to the barbs of the bullshit. And this is what's needed, guys. That it takes a monster to defeat monsters. They are not playing fair. The other side is not playing fair. The woke right people and the woke left people, they're not playing fair. They're using every advantage they can get. Like when Ian Carroll gaslights me and says, I don't want to talk to you because you're being emotional. No, that's not what's going on. He's playing a PR game, right? That's a PR statement that he's putting out. And the left does the same thing. Like when they ignore that they are responsible for these terrorist attacks that have been happening. And how do you stop that? You don't stop that by being nice to people. It doesn't fix the problem. You brutally humiliate them. Brutally humiliate them, dress them down, show people that the emperor has no clothes. That's what you do. Does it make you likable? No. It doesn't make you likable at all. It makes you hated, actually. People hate when you do that. They hate when they get exposed like that. But that's what it takes to make a difference. And then the last one, my cat man, shame that the UFO communities are full of Redditors. Yes, it is very shameful, to be honest with you. And that's part of the problem, too, is that the Redditors, and I think the feds do have a level of control over Reddit, especially at the administrative level. But they're able to control the narratives through selective enforcement of the rules. And through that, you can change people's perceptions the same way that the Ash conformity experiment does. Now, there was one more thing I want to see if I can find here. Let me see if I can find it. Let me see it. I thought that had a clip. No, that's not that one. Oh, well, this is pretty cool here. I found something that's actually pretty neat. I'm looking at some of my clips here, trying to find the one. There's one that Pudoff talked about the energy source of UFOs, and I just can't find it anymore, but it's somewhere out there. If somebody can find, oh, yeah, this is the one where he mentions plasma. Okay, maybe we'll take this one. Let me show you guys a couple things real quick, and then we're going to call it a night. So this will be your moment of Zen for tonight. If you look up my profile, you can see here, I'm just looking at my profile. Look up Pudoff, look up a Neutronic. You're going to find some pretty interesting stuff. So first, just to show you guys who are not, if you're not convinced still, oh, is this it right here? No, that's not it. If you're not convinced about the nuclear connection, take a look at this. This was the polyhedral configuration right here. That right there is the polyhedral configuration of in Friedrich-Wernerberg's physical principles of thermonuclear explosive devices. Take a look at that. Holy smokes. 4 fission bombs are placed, each with focus at 4 elliptical mirrors, forming a heavy substance, reflecting the waves. There you go. I mean, that right there, that's the MH370 videos right there. And then where's the Pudoff thing? Oh, wait, that's not right. Where's the Pudoff clip I want to play? I think I'm going to play this clip down here. One sec. A little bit further. I think it's this one. No. Maybe it's this one, actually. Let's see.
Said to be a point particle, but why doesn't its Coulomb field then cause it to have an enormous mass associated with that energy extracted from the 0-point energy fields?
Okay. I've gone on 100 podcasts, and I want to say on at least half of them, I've just said the same thing that Pudoff said. Energy can be extracted from the 0-point energy field. Clip that. 3 hours, 31 minutes in, chat. None. From Ashton is out tonight.
It's to do it again. Plates and the Casimir effect. That's great. You get your little puff of energy, but if you're pulling apart to do it again, you've got to put in as much energy as you got out. So you got to find some other way. So we looked at some plasma potential aspects. Those are not.
Yahtzee! Yes! So remember a few days ago, Eric Davis, he was saying the Casimir effect can't work because it's just a small amount. And even if you pull these plates, if these plates come together, we can extract energy, but you have to reset them. So maybe there's another way. That was Hal Pudoff saying that they looked into plasma as a method of energy extraction. There you go, guys. That's your moment of Zen. I love you, MH370X. Have a great night. Thank you, Zapparoo, for this last donation. Thank you, everybody in the Pillow chat, the Rumble chat. Catch me on Friday. Can't wait. I'll see you guys later. Peace out, everybody.
in the fields where the skies are wide, talking about a journey through the cosmic ride. Einstein and Thorne, they set the stage for a trip through time across the space age. Wormholes connect distant points in space, traversable paths to a far-off place. No black holes pull, no crushing weight, just a cosmic tunnel to a distant gate. Talking wormholes, stargates, negative energy, travel through the cosmos, it's our destiny. MH370, where did it go? Borland 777 through a wormhole flow. We're talking wormholes, stargates, negative energy, travel through the cosmos, it's our destiny. MH370, where did it go? Borland 777 through a wormhole flow. Exotic matter, negative energy's the key to stabilize the wormhole for you and me. Quantum vacuum squeezed so tight, creating conditions for this wondrous flight. Static fields and lasers in the lab they play, generating forces in a new kind of way. Gravitational squeezing, Casimir's force, negative zones we need to stay the course. Talking wormholes, stargates, negative energy, travel through the cosmos, it's our destiny. MH370, where did it go? Borland 777 through a wormhole flow. Thin shell formalism plates so fine, spherical geometry we realign. Energy conditions that we must defy. For a stable wormhole, let's give it a try. Forces balancing the plate, creating the throat, opening gates from Earth to the stars in a single bound. A shortcut through space profound. Engineers and dreamers hold the key to future worlds and what we could be. With science in hand, we forge ahead through the cosmic paths that we now tread. Talking wormholes, stargates, negative energy, travel through the cosmos, it's our destiny. MH370, where did it go? Borland 777 through a wormhole flow. From the fields to the stars, we break the chains. Understanding the universe, we make the gains. Lil Hula Crunk shines, bringing truth to light. Through his music, we'll explore the night. With wormholes and stargates, our path is clear. Exploring the cosmos.